you going? Today we're going to be reacting to some more story times. We're going to be doing I was afraid of the government, so I got a baby to save my parents. This sounds interesting. So, I don't know, these kind of, I've seen a couple of these now that are messed up, so we have to sit tight and see what happens.
My name is Jemmy.
Hi, Demi.
And I'm 16 years old. My story begins 2 years ago when my parents and I migrated from our country to find a better life in the U.S. We were very poor. We had no means of comfortable survival and no hope for a change. So we decided to change our circumstances instead. There was no way we could
I wonder where they're from. I wonder, like, whereabouts they're from.
afford the cost and bear with the long
boots,
process
girl.
of legal means of living in the United States. So we did what others had done. We became illegal immigrants. Oh, don't be so shocked. We're not bad people. I know it's wrong. I mean, it's called illegal for a reason. I am aware that it's not what we should have done, but this was crucial in our case. We didn't know what else to do. It was either this or stay home and die of starvation. We chose the better option, and for a while, it all worked. We lived simple lives. Mama and I worked as maids.
The animations are so cute. They're like anime today.
Papa, on the other hand, took whatever job he could get.
At least they're
We
working.
knew how dangerous it was to
They
get
wouldn't be paying tax, that's for sure.
exposed and did everything to blend in. We were managing like that until one day we heard on the TV some news that later became our worst nightmare. The government was taking new and extreme measures to deport illegal immigrants. This put our entire lives in jeopardy. The daily deportations
yikes,
were increasing rapidly. Hundreds of illegal immigrants were being found. We couldn't risk getting caught because there was...
It's kind of a tough one because, like, I understand, like, there's certain situations that aren't great. That's why they flee. But then, they did come there, like, not properly. So, like, the government's not really to blame for trying to get them out because they need to, like, control who's coming into the country. But, yeah, like, it's a tough one.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing waiting for us back home. My parents panicked, not knowing what to do. We'd been hiding for long as illegal
from
immigrants,
Mexico.
and we knew that we'd most likely get deported. In the rush of things, an idea popped into my head that I knew could save the whole situation. The thing is, it was too extreme. I thought about it a lot, and eventually, I decided to do it.
What's she
In one
gonna
of the
do? She's
houses
gonna have a
where I
kid,
worked,
bet
I
you.
met a boy who I ended up falling in love with. He was the son of the household. Rich, handsome, and somehow we dated. Of course, it was a strange relationship we always had to hide. We'd never let our parents know of this. They would only worry. Now, when this problem of deportation
I hope she tells him. I hope she tells his dad.
arose, I knew Josh, my boyfriend, was the only person who could help me. He was American and from a wealthy
American.
and powerful family. I knew he loved me, and I thought of him at most times as my future partner. So, maybe, if things got more official between us, the chances of us staying in the U.S. would rise. Now, I'm not talking about marriage. I wish that would work. Well, I could ask him to marry me, but I wasn't sure if that would be legal at my age, and his parents would
She's
definitely
16.
not approve.
Probably not.
It was going to be a long, long story. So instead, I came up with an idea that was more doable. I wanted to get pregnant.
Yikes. That's so much more like, oh, this is not good.
Josh would stay by my side. He wouldn't let me do this alone. And if that was the case, he'd make sure no one would take away his beloved girlfriend and baby. Even his parents would accept us when a baby is involved.
I love how she's saying, like, she just doesn't know it. She's assuming.
My plan seemed
That
just
poor kid. Why was I born, Mum? Oh, so we wouldn't get deported.
perfect. Getting pregnant was the easy part. I read online all about it, and I followed the instructions. I waited for the right time of the month, and I got with Josh. Of course, he thought I was on the pill because I answered with yes every time he asked.
Oh my gosh, she didn't even tell him. Oh, this poor guy. She's gonna f his life.
It didn't work the first time, so I kept trying. Until one day, the pregnancy test showed positive for pregnancy. Even though things were working according to my plan, when I saw the results, I froze in my place. Was I really pregnant? Seeing the results in my own eyes made everything feel so real.
It's kind of shitty though. Like, imagine the guy's situation. Like, he's now probably gonna have to pay child support for the rest of his life when she was telling him, like, I understand it takes two to make a kid, but she told him she was on the pill. I feel like she's just done the dirtiest deed to, like, her guy. And I understand she's desperate, but, like, man, that poor bloke.
Days after, I went to Josh and told him about the pregnancy. His cold reaction was very confusing and humiliating for me. As if he couldn't understand my words, he said, "What did you say?"
Obviously,
I
he's not gonna be
repeated my
happy.
words and showed him the pregnancy test. Truthfully, I expected Josh to smile widely and say, "Oh my God." But no, at that moment and right before my eyes, his face became like a mask of anger.
I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think what she's done is absolutely disgusting. Like, I understand they don't want to. They should have got lawyers or something to try and stay in the country. To do that to, like, another guy is just so bad. Ugh.
He blamed me for not using protection properly and said I should not even think of telling anyone anything. And even if I did, he would deny it anyway. Our relationship had always been in secret, so no one would bear witness. I cried, begging him, but he didn't listen. The next day, I was fired. So there I was.
Oh, she worked with him? That makes it so much worse.
One
Probably just using
pregnant, jobless, illegal immigrant. I realized that instead of solving our problems, I had made it even worse. I had no choice now. I had to tell my parents. I imagined
I kind
how
of don't
they
like
would
this
react.
chick.
Mama was a Christian.
Don't like
Dad
her.
was a peaceful man. Still, as his daughter, I knew he would be a scary disciplinarian when the situation arose. But I had to tell them anyway. Papa and Mama sat in the living room, tired as they looked at me. I saw how much strain they were under, and my heart broke all over again. The stress and worry of deportation were killing them, and I knew I was about to make it all worse. When I finally told them the truth, they were indeed shocked.
Here we go.
Mama looked at Papa. They both looked at me. There was an uncomfortable silence as I waited for their
That'd
reaction.
be a pretty big shock.
When the silence became too much, I began to shakily explain that the reason I even considered getting pregnant at first was that I wanted to help. I cried and asked them to forgive me. I told them that the plan backfired and my boyfriend didn't want to help.
Ugh.
My mother wrapped her arms around my shoulder while crying, and Papa put his hand on my knee, a tear running down his cheeks. Seriously, I was confused. What was going on? My Papa crying instead of giving me the talk of my life?
I mean, it's pretty sad that she felt like she was that desperate she had to do that, and I think that's why her parents would be crying.
For a little while. But then I asked them what I was going to do with the baby. Papa said I should keep it, that it might even be better that way. What? How could they say that?
I'm so confused. She got pregnant for a reason, and now she's angry because they don't want her to keep it. What?
It's true that I got pregnant to help them, but it was obvious that I did a horrible mistake. I sacrificed my whole life ahead of me, even though I had practically volunteered. How could they think of sacrificing me easily like that?
What? Who is this chick? Hello? That was your plan, and now that you've done it and your parents are happy that you did it, you're mad that they're sacrificing your life, which you decided to do without consulting them, which they... hello?
Days went by, and I couldn't speak to them. I felt betrayed by my own parents.
It's got to be pregnancy hormones or something.
How could they tell me to keep the baby and destroy my life? How could they not worry after they heard all I'd been through? So I went ahead and told my mom that I've decided to get an abortion, whether she wants to help me through it or not. My mom seemed upset with my decision, but she didn't argue and assured me that she'll help. The next day, she assisted me with setting an appointment at the clinic, and it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Well, you won't be able to get one now
Regardless
because
of that,
they
my
banned
connection with my parents didn't improve, and they only seemed to be feeling sadder with each passing day. A day prior to my appointment, I woke up to find the house empty. I called my parents, but no one answered. It was strange because it wasn't like them to just leave and not say anything.
Do you reckon they got deported already?
I also tried to call them, but they didn't answer. I started to worry, but I didn't give it much thought. However, when a few hours passed by and they still were absent, I started to seriously worry. Could they be troubled with the police or get held by the authorities? All kinds of thoughts were racing through my mind, and I was panicking. I went to my parents' room trying to find anything that could give me a clue as to what was going on. And boom, Here it was. A letter on my
they had
mom's
to go to
desk
court.
that said, "Notice to appear" on it. I didn't understand what it meant exactly, so I started reading. The letter was from the
They
government.
did get, yeah.
It was an order for us to appear at court to review our resident status. Heart dropped. Even though we were expecting this, it never really hit me until I saw that letter.
Yeah.
I looked at the date set for court, and it was for today. I freaked out. I had no idea what to do. My parents were probably getting an order of deportation at the moment. I had to act fast. Without thinking, I headed out to Josh's place. He was the only person who could help me. When Josh saw me, he was
What's he
confused.
gonna do?
He asked what's wrong. As I was trying to explain to him what had happened, I almost fainted. Josh held me and said that I should relax and tell him what happened. When I did, Josh quickly called his father and asked him what should be done.
Oh, at least they're
After
helping
several
now.
phone calls, Josh said that everything will be taken care of, and together, we headed to court. It was crazy how much power Josh's family had, because when I got there, my parents' trial was delayed for some hours, and they were sitting in the discussion room with a fancy lawyer.
Oh,
When I
you got a
got there, the
lawyer.
lawyer asked me if I was planning to continue with my pregnancy. I looked at my parents and I didn't know how to answer that. The lawyer continued to explain that if my answer was yes, it would help his case very much and we most likely won't get deported.
That's
and if
so
not,
messed up.
I asked. The lawyer answered quietly, "Then the chances of staying here won't be that high." My mom lowered her head, then told me that they apologized if I felt pressured about the baby, and told me that they didn't tell me about the notice because they didn't want this to affect the decision I make about my
but that's
pregnancy.
nice. The parents did that.
My dad then said that they would never think of sacrificing their own daughter. Seeing him crying was unexpected. He said that there are some things that I don't know about. Problems with dangerous family members were only one of the reasons we had to change locations. If we were to go back to our home country, we could be in real danger. It had been pretty
That's
ugly,
so
and they tried
bad
to
for
shield
our
me
age
from it
to
all.
have to do that.
I was surprised to hear that going back to our country was going to be life-threatening. Dealing with all of this was really hard and complicated. But the reality was that I had a baby on the way, and it could be the only reason to keep us
I mean,
going.
if she wants... I feel bad for
I
the
want
baby.
to keep the baby, I said. My mom had tears in her eyes. Are you sure? Yes. I was sure more than anything that I never want to see
The
my
guy
family
gets no
in danger.
opinion in this. Oh, I don't know if I like this one, guys.
I never thought it was possible, but now, 8 months later, I am at peace. Even though Josh didn't want to be a part of the baby's life, I did really well with the help of my parents. The baby girl is already knocking and would be out anytime soon. For the life of me, I can't even believe I once tried to abort this sweet angel. Yes, that's her name, Angel.
Oh.
And she is a constant
At least
source
she,
of
wants the
joy
kid
to
now.
me. My parents were never deported and were granted residence because I was carrying an American child. And I also was underage. So my parents were given permission to stay with me, thanks to Josh's parents' lawyer.
Oh.
I don't know what the future holds and what we will do, but we're trying our best to keep going as a solid family. This was a terrible experience, but still, I am thankful for it. It is the reason I have my angel.
That was kind of a really, really messed up story. I feel like mixed feelings on it. Like I said, the guy, she kind of lied to him, and I'm very uncomfortable by that story. I mean, at least she kind of wants the kid now. She didn't want the kid at all at the beginning. That's what makes me even more uncomfortable. But yeah. Anyway, guys, let me know what you thought about that one, because I don't know if it's just me analyzing it too much or what, but let me know down in the comments below what you thought about this one, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!